Hello everyone, it's Alex here with Lucksack Games, and we're about to run this deck through a... Nope. We want to run it through a Legacy League, not the Legacy Challenge. So let's go ahead and play a Legacy League with Mono Blue Rogues. So this is a deck that I brewed up some amount of time ago, and I submitted it to MTG Goldfish. The YouTube video got quite a bit of attention. But Seth never ended up playing it, so here we are, playing it ourselves. Let's see what we start off here with. Against our opponent, Midget Man 97. Ideally not a Chalice of the Void deck. This hand appears to be fine. We're going to go ahead and keep. Let's find out what our opponent is on. So we're probably just going to go Ponder here, looking for more lands. Eventually look to get this True-Name Nemesis down and then put a Curious Obsession on it. Looks like our opponent might be Miracles. Drawing another land there was kind of nice. See what our Ponder reveals. Slither Blade Island. I think this is just a shuffle. Yeah, drawing Force of Negation there was great. So there's a potential to take in Slither Blade there, because then you get to get Slither Blade Curious Obsession online a turn earlier. But I think I like this. Also, opponent could just be Show and Tell. Opponent is almost certainly Miracles now. Ooh, Invisible Stalker, huh? Stalker, however, was a pretty good draw. We're going to go ahead and jam that this turn. I'm sure is very confused. Anyone that knows the Legacy format knows that this card is not playable, but our opponent is brainstorming in response. Looks like we might have a counterspell battle on our next turn. We ideally do not want to pitch the True-Name Nemesis because we could still lose the counterspell battle, and then we find ourselves in a position where we have no threats. So, can't do that. Brainstorm is resolved. Hopefully so is our Stalker. If our has Force, that's fine. Force is our Stalker. That we do have Daze, but our opponent does have interaction for that, so that's fine. Opponent fetches planes at the end of their turn. That's fine. Now, ideally, we draw an island here to play True-Name Nemesis, but we'll see what we get. Looks like opponent's on 2 lands. Draw a land. Woohoo! Alright, we're going to jam True-Name here. Alright, we're going to get protection from them. So, Swords to Plowshares doesn't do it here. If they did brainstorm Terminus to the top now, it does do it. They did not bring Terminus to the top. It looks like we're going to be able to Curious Obsession up the True-Name. So when I first brewed this deck up, this is actually what I wanted to do most, was Curious Obsession up a True-Name. This was the whole point of the deck, was to get Curious Obsession on a True-Name Nemesis. We've won the first game. Our opponent agrees that Curious Obsession on a True-Name Nemesis probably good enough. Alright, so... Miracles, huh? Okay. Jits aren't very good, Surgicals aren't very good, Back to Basics are terrible. Force of Negations are also very, very medium. So, we don't care too much about Echoing Truth, as we're able to answer most of their threats, since they tend to be a very threat-light deck. So I'm probably fine with just switching those for Commandeers. Commandeer are heavy on card disadvantage, but keep in mind, even if you steal like an Ancestral Knowledge, or not Ancestral Knowledge, 2 mana, draw X, where X is the number of cards in the graveyard plus 1. If it's sometimes that can be fine too. Generally, you want to try and steal a Jace or something with I think about stealing Terminus isn't even that fine. I'm probably just fine with more Force of Negations. I'm a fan of the Commandeer card, though. One land Slither Blade Curiosity foil, huh? I say we go ahead and keep this since we have a couple of threats, a couple counter spells. I'm going to lead on the Slither Blade. Opponent only saw hexproof threats, which is a very good chance then that they won't have removal for this. They might have Pyroblast, but I mean, we have a couple of follow-ups if they do. Force of Negation is not excellent on our turn, so we're going to go ahead and pass to them since we have no other counter magic. I'm sure opponent read Slither Blade real quick, find out what it was, what it does. Alright. Looks like Slither Blade's going to pass through to our turn. Oh, nope. Gonna get swordsted. Maybe? Huh. Alright, well, this counterspell isn't really being a counterspell right now, so let's go ahead and play this Chrome Mox. Exiling foil. Go ahead and put Curiosity on the Slither Blade. Potential we should have pondered first. Opponent did keep it in swords. Oh no, it's Pyroblast. Okay. I still think that's fine. We can now ponder here. If we find a third land, we're going to be going for True-Name. We did not. We would have found the Force of Will though, so definitely a punt on my behalf. Since we're not finding the land, I want to draw this Force. And then I want to draw Curious Obsession the next turn? Okay. My library? Nope. Alright, so next turn we're going to play out the Invisible Stalker, and the turn after that we're going to be trying to put a Curious Obsession on it. See what the opponent's doing here. I'm going to turn off auto yields just in case the opponent has like Council's Judgment for a Chrome Mox. We don't like that one. We don't like that one bit. Let's get into a fight over it. Is Force of Negation good enough, opponent? He just makes all of our counter spells so bad. He's fine. This Force of Will is now a dead card. Saw that coming though, so it's going to be fuel for this Chrome Mox. So, play out Chrome Mox. Imprint Force of Will, and then play the Invisible Stalker. And we're going to hope to ride Curious Obsession plus Ponder to the game. Depending on what we ponder into, we may attack the Teferi, but it's very, very unlikely. This, oh no, that being a mentor is very, very, very bad for us. Okay, well, let's ponder first. Problem is we can't cast a Spell Pierce this turn. Alright, well, we're not going to be drawing an extra card this turn, but we are going to Wasteland them. Let's go ahead and take them off Tundra. Curious Obsession on Invisible Stalker. We're probably losing this game, but we need to take Teferi off the table. Every attack for the rest of this game will go at our opponent. To the best of my knowledge. Alright, opponent has 3 cards in hand and a Monastery Mentor. Very likely to just be dead here. Especially when the first one's Brainstorm with an uncracked fetch. So obviously Mentor is the card we were hoping to dodge. or have counter magic for, but that Teferi put us definitely in an awkward position. Jeskai Mentor, though. Deck of the year. Deck of the century? Maybe. It is Legacy, after all. Is this Sword your Monk's token to get another Monk token? Oh dear God. So, that's the second card that we can't beat. We couldn't beat the first one, so what does that make the second one? Alright, let's get him for 2. We're going to draw that island. Yep. We're going to put it into play, and then we're going to pass turn to them. We are so spell piercing the first spell that they play, though. I mean, first spell that counters, I guess. So we're going to yield for a moment. Yeah, I just don't believe we can beat these monks as we are now. So I'm going to go ahead and concede this game. Well played to our opponent. Alright, so let's see. Does that mean that we should have some amount... Our opponent showed that they had huge weakness to this back to basics, which is kind of awkward. I think we cut these foils and bring in 2 back to basics. We would like to be on the play. We're going to take a mulligan with this one, though. 4 lands is not where you would want to be. This hand is very good. We're going to go ahead and keep, and we're going to go ahead and bottom the Ponder. While it does give us something to do on one, we're just going to pass with this island. Next one, we can go Wasteland into this Invisible Stalker. With Force and Daze, I'd be shocked if Invisible Stalker doesn't resolve, but, yep. Well, that's something we can pitch to Force the World to help make this resolve, so let's see if it does resolve. Wonderful. We got our Hexproof 1/1 down. Good news is they can't Pyroblast that one. So it looks like opponent's passing. 2 basics in play, kind of awkward, but let's go ahead and play this island. If they go to play another spell, we do get to Daze, pick up this island, and then we get Monarch post-combat, potentially. So let's go ahead and attack with our 1/1. Unfortunately, this one does not increase power, so it is only 1 damage this turn. But we do get to draw a card, which is pretty good. And we drew an island, so now we're not hoping to pick that up, because we can just play one. Go ahead and pass. We have Hardcast Daze and Pick Up a Land Daze. Both are pretty good. Alright, let's see how many counterspells opponent has to back up this Monastery Mentor. Council's Judgment. No. No. Cast Daze. Would you like to force our Daze? Daze is good enough. Okay. Ponder. See, this Ponder we're going to go ahead and cast because we might hit another Curiosity effect. This is in any order. Another Force is nice, but not necessarily where we want to be. Alright, well we now have Hardcast, Force of Negation, Daze, and a Draw Step, so let's find... Oh, definitely should have waited to play that island in case we drew another Wasteland. True-Name Nemesis. I'm okay with getting another 3 power on the battlefield. Them. Alright, so we have Force of Will plus Daze here. That feels okay to pass with. Ponder's fine. This definitely is something we needed to help increase our clock, because now we're attacking for 4 a turn. And hopefully the Curiosity keeps enough counterspells flowing that we can lock out the game. This is kind of the idea and point of the deck. So hopefully you all are enjoying this. Narset. What if we didn't Narset? What if we picked up an island and dazed Narset? Alright, well that got through. We've used our soft counter magic, which is good because, you know, don't want to rely on that too much. Let's see what we draw off this. I doubt we'll need to pass with double force up, but that is something we can do if we just play Island Go. Always draw a card, of course. Alright, so now we're passing with double force up even if we play out True-Name, or single force up if we're playing out True-Name. That seems fine. Puts our opponent on a significantly faster clock. And also, yeah, because now they're on a 2-turn clock. 6, 7 power, yep. The opponent's casting now. That one can't be countered. Oof. That's a good one. Alright, well that's bad for us. That's a reason to hold back True-Name. Well played by the opponent. See if we can draw a threat. Another Wasteland is not a threat. Million counter spells do nothing against Supreme Verdict. That's very well played by the opponent. We're going to go ahead and just cast his Force of Negation. Could have cast Force of Will as well, but see no reason to cast Force of Will on that. Force of Will can counter Monastery Mentors, and we can hard cast them. See what the opponent chose to do there. They chose to shuffle. Alright, let's take our turn. Spell Pierce is not very good there. Very unfortunate. I still think committing the True-Name is correct there. By committing the True-Name, like I said, we put him on a 2-turn clock, but it's really unfortunate not to have it now. Alright, let's see what the opponent's casting here. A Ponder's fine. We don't want to let like a big Planeswalker get through, but they will eventually be beating our soft permission by just having lands in play. A very good chance that we are actually locked out of the game with that verdict out of them, but there's not much we can do about that. Wait for the opponent. Alright, our turn. Stalker. Well, it's a thing. Let's go ahead and put it down. It's one of our slower clocks, but it is definitely a clock. Alright, so now we want to draw some curiosity effects to start getting the cards flowing again. That is one we cannot let resolve. I think we have to pitch Spell Pierce here. No. Because we get them if their interaction is also Spell Pierce. Because then they tap down to only 2 lands. The interaction's Force of Will. Darn. Okay. They get a Mentor. Alright, well, Echoing Truth would be pretty good right here. Curious Obsession can draw us into Echoing Truth. I like where this is going. See what the opponent has. We do have Spell Pierce as interaction, which should stop most of what they have. Except for Force of Negation. Wow! Wow! Okay. Aren't free counterspells so broken? Alright, well, I mean, we still get in there, because we're not blocking to trade. But we are definitely passing the turn. Wow. That was really, really well played by the opponent. Curious what they pitched there. Double Snapcaster Mage. Costly for the opponent, but definitely well played. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Well, we're going to Spell Pierce here just so they don't get Jace plus having the Uncracked Fetch. But that should be the game. I'm going to make the opponent do a little more damage to us, but it's very likely that they kill us. We'd need to basically... I'm basically going to take a draw step at True-Name Nemesis. The opponent actually should cast a counterspell there if they had one, but they don't because they have no cards in hand. But if they did, they should cast a counterspell over just paying to make another token. Alright, take your best out of the top 3, opponent. X for 5, and then we'll see if we draw True-Name Nemesis. If we do draw True-Name Nemesis, we have a chance. Only 2 Wastelands are in deck on the battlefield, and that's a Slither Blade. Alright, well played, opponent. Alright, let's get started for match 2 of our Legacy League with Mono Blue Rogues. We managed to get at least one game in there where we showed off what the point of the deck was and we're able to keep pace with our threats while drawing into counter spells. But definitely, unfortunately, that last game, opponent having one too many forces for us to be able to handle. I lied when I said we'd be able to stop all the opponent's interaction because they only had 2 lands and tapped a Spell Pierce because they had a Force of Negation. Interesting of note that they would not have had Force of Negation on their turn because they only had 2 lands, and Force of Negation's alternate cost does not work on your own turn. It's actually an elegantly designed card in that way that does not protect combo decks because it will not protect them on their own turn for free. So let's get into our next match. Let's hope to win some die rolls and see if we can get some curiosities onto some creatures. Game 1, let's see what we're up against. Opponent is Crazy Lol KO. Let's hope they don't crazily lol KO us out. That'd be very, very bad for us. Like, I've beaten Chalice for 1, but that is not the most pleasant experience for the deck that has like 21 drops. This hand's pretty good. While it doesn't have a creature itself, it has enough mana to cast every creature in our deck and a Ponder to help find a creature. I mean, that Wasteland will luckily do nothing against us, and it does look like we are against lands. So we're going to turn off auto yields here and find out what the opponent's playing. Chalice of the Void on 1. Interesting. I am very curious. We are going to force that. I am very curious if the opponent saw our lands league with mono green lands, and because of it, they are trying out Chalice of the Void in their lands deck. So let's go ahead and play a Ponder here. We currently look like Miracles. Except for we pitch Daze, I guess. Bad red and 6 draw? Nah, still basic island. Card's very confused. I am having a hard time explaining it to you, I'm sure. So, ideally we find basically that combination of cards. So we're going to put this on the bottom, then this, then this. Nope. Alright, we get to cast turn 2 True-Name Nemesis, and hope that's good enough. Good chance the opponent has second Chalice here. Sylvan Library, okay. It's definitely a card I wanted to try out in our list as well. So we're going to go ahead and cast this Chrome Mox. We're going to print Ponder. And then we're going to play an island and play True-Name Nemesis. We're obviously going to take protection from them. There's a good chance they're playing a 20/20 next turn. If they do, we unfortunately have minimal interaction with them. We basically only have Wastelands. I guess we have Echoing Truce currently. So, Echoing Truce and Wastelands are interaction for our opponent's 20/20 currently. Woohoo, opponent chose to take 4. That actually does take a turn off the clock, the opponent just doesn't know that yet. Windswept Heath is another green source for the opponent. Curious if they're playing Chalice for 1. Ooh, Knight of the Reliquary. Alright, so they are more like an aggro lands deck. Not, unfortunately, not our little fun homebrew here. So let's go ahead and place this on a True-Name Nemesis and go ahead and draw. Unfortunately, we didn't have a counterspell there for the Knight. That would have been very nice. So opponent is currently on a 3-turn clock. Let's see what we draw. That's not the most impactful card to draw. We will play a basic island and pass the turn. Opponent's going to fetch to clear the Sylvan Library. Looks like they're on that 4-color aggro loam. Tabernacle's definitely what threw me off. You don't see that card in that. I don't think you see that card very often in this deck. So another True-Name Nemesis is pretty good because it should keep them off ever being able to attack with this Knight. Bob is also fine. He will give them a constant flow of cards, but we're pressuring their health total pretty hard. Mind you, I believe the highest card in their deck is this Knight of the Reliquary, is a 3-drop. So we're going to chunk in for 4 at their life total again and draw another card. Unfortunately, they were a Chalice of the Void deck. Luckily, we did have the counterspell. Alright, so we're going to take the hit for 4. Curiosity was an insane draw there, because now we're drawing 2. So let's go ahead and hit our opponent and draw 2 cards. Hopefully both are counterspells. I'd also take counterspell plus True-Name. Always yes, always yes, always yield, always yield. Alright, so kinda got what we wanted. So I can hardcast this foil. That's not a phrase you hear often in Legacy. Opponent did hit themselves down to 5. That's pretty good. Reveals Dark Confidant with Dark Confidant's ability. If they fetch, they are lethal to this True-Name. If they don't fetch this True-Name, they can never fetch again. So it looks like they're going to chunk in for 6 here. That's fine. Oh, putting themselves to 4 is a little bit aggressive, though. So they're dead to our attack. Interesting. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm definitely not counting lethal with all the Mox Diamonds and crop rotations they could possibly have. So that's resolved. We're at 8. We have a 4-power True-Name in play currently. We have Hardcast Foil, and then next turn we'll have Hardcast Force as well. Okay. Let's see what the opponent has. I'm assuming it's crop rotation for something that stops our creature, like a Glacial Chasm. But if they don't have that, I'm pretty sure this is lethal. Alright, opponent's paying costs. Ooh. Can't counter that one. Can't counter that one. Alright, so we only draw 1 card. And now we need to draw into a blocker. It's a pretty good play from the opponent. Alright, we didn't. So the opponent definitely played us there. I'm going to make them Wasteland themselves, but they definitely have us dead here. Well played. Unfortunately, it was Abrupt Decay, not Assassin's Trophy. We definitely can interact with the other ones. But Dark Confidant might be on our side here and kill our opponent. Let's find out. Oh no, it revealed Wasteland. Alright, well played, opponent. Well played. Alright, well, if they're just gonna... Oh, yeah. So we're going to try and avoid revealing too much information. This was kind of a close game. It's unfortunate Dark Confidant didn't kill him there, but hey, you can't always count on Bob to be playing on your team. Like I said, opponent does have us dead here if they just Wasteland themselves, attack with all. Alright, opponent's playing a Scavenging Ooze. That's pretty good. Should have countered that. No 2 creatures in graveyard. Alright. That's the game. Well played. Alright, let's go ahead and get the side one. Give me a second. Be right back. Sorry about that, guys. I'm back. Guys and gals. So let's talk about back to basics. Force of Negation is awkward because it's not good against any of their creatures. But they're also a Chalice of the Void. Commandeer is really only good against Library. I like these snapbacks though. Not a ton, but a little bit. Don't love foil here when it's a bit of a card advantage battle. Just so good here. What is Jitte better than? Probably one of the or two of these spell piercers. Yeah, that sounds about right. Alright, let's get to game number 2. We'd like to be on the play. Oh, this hand is so close. So close. Alright, this hand's a keep. This hand's a keep, and I think we're working towards True-Name or Back to Basics anyways, so I think we actually put Slither Blade down, even though Slither Blade is our castable card currently. Let's keep. We're going to drop Slither Blade, and we're hoping to rip a land off the top. So let's see if we can do it. Obviously we have Daze, but that's not amazingly good, especially against things like Mox Diamond starts. There's a chance we also just Daze Wasteland, but that's very, very unlikely. Also good chance that if the opponent plays a Chalice for 1, we do just let that resolve. We don't currently have any 1-drops. Life from the Loam. Well, that's not one we care much about. Let's see. All these Wastelands aren't doing anything anymore. Nope. Alright. It's a little unfortunate. Drawing that island there was exactly what we were looking for, though. So I think what we're looking to do here is Daze a 3-drop and then Back to Basics them. Then develop a True-Name Nemesis that hopefully can start clocking them. So, second island pass is our play here. It would be unfortunate if instead opponent goes fetch basic, because then they can start to play around this Back to Basics. Opponent chooses not to dredge. They're casting a 2-drop. Is a Sylvan Library. I'm going to go ahead and cast Daze just to force them to fetch. Hopefully they're fetching a non-basic and then they'll pay. Beautiful. Alright, so we're going to reduce them back to 1 land with just the Mox Diamond. Second True-Name was a pretty good pickup here. Let's resolve this Back to Basics. Hopefully opponent does not have Abrupt Decay or something along those lines. Oh, I guess we don't get Wasteland back, so we're not guaranteed to cast these True-Names. See what we got here. Opponent plays land. That's not the card we were looking for. Well, the good news is we're definitely developing this True-Name Nemesis next turn. Darn, we would have been able to anyways. Alright. I'm not really taking away a mana source at all, especially with Life in the Loam there. But if we can hamper the development even for a turn, it's something. So our plan is basically True-Name into True-Name here and hope it's good enough. We do have Daze, but it's very unlikely that Daze is going to be what resolves here. Or relevant here. It'll probably resolve, but probably they will just pay 1. Okay, opponent, Sylvan Library. See how many cards you're drawing. Darn. We kind of want them to draw with Sylvan Library aggressively to try and get their life total a bit low. Chalice on 1 is fine. Currently, our game, we do not have any cards that, you know, are affected by that card. Alright, let's chunk in for 3 and then play another thing that chunks in for 3. So we're gonna, we don't have foils left in our deck, so we can go ahead and play this island. What we really don't want to see is whatever that card is, it gives -1/-1 to all cards. Fishing. Us. Yeah, that's fine. We could have dazed that, but I really just don't see the point in it. So we have 6 power of true names on the battlefield, which seems pretty decent. It is still a 3-turn clock, but that allows us to chunk in with both, leave one as a blocker, and still get in for lethal. Alright, chunk in with both, leave one as a blocker, kill them. Let's sequence this right. All we have is a Daze left in hand, which we can cast, but it's unlikely opponents developing a 5-drop here. A little unfortunate to draw the 1-drop now, but we knew it was going to happen. Alright, opponent's turn. Looks like the opponent is flooded a little bit here. Fetch doesn't change the clock at all. Sure, they are definitely on the slow grind with Punishing Fire. We've been Punishing Fired. See if they draw any additional cards. They can't draw, if they draw even one additional card, they are dead to both our true names, so we should be terrified because it's a card that's going to remove both our true names. Alright, let's see what they have here. Cycles a Barrenmore, draws another card. Wasteland. Not currently very threatening to us at all. Here's the card that's going to scare us. Life in the Loam, targeting a redraw and some more lands. That's fine. That's fine. Now hopefully they try and develop a threat. And then we get to Daze and have the got him dance. Ah, didn't get him. Alright, our turn. Draw. Another 1-drop. We're going to go ahead and reduce them to 2. And then it's our turn. Hopefully this is our last turn, and if we can get there, we've won a match. The Vangling Ooze. That's pretty good. Go ahead and cast this. See if the opponent pays. I assume the opponent paid. I didn't actually see a land get tapped, but I'm sure there is one. I think we only have 1 creature in graveyard though, so an attack with both these should still be lethal. Force of Will would be the ideal draw step here. I'm not unhappy about that, so let's go ahead and attack with all creatures and see if our opponent has interaction. If they do, Stalker's still a couple turn clock because of the ooze. That's fine. Alright. Let's go to game 3. Alright, so especially after seeing oozes, I guess. I don't know. Snapbacks? What do you think? Snapbacks? Better than Spell Piercers. Definitely against Loam. If they're keeping in the fire, I think I don't want Slither Blades. Maybe I actually do want Force of Negations if they're doing Loam things. Most of the things are creature based. This is why this particular matchup is a little more interesting. I'm actually gonna go ahead and bring in foils on the draw, and let's go ahead and where are they? Only 2 Force of Negations is fine. Let's hope they don't have Chalice for 1 on the play. If they do, let's hope we have interaction for it, and enough of a hand to still win a game. Okay, well, this hand beats a Chalice for 1. But doesn't do much else. I think we still keep this. We're definitely hoping to draw into some of our Curiosity effects, or clocks. It's fine. Chalice for 1. Chalice resolves. Go ahead and pass their opponent's turn. Second Chrome Mox was a miserable draw. So since we have Echoing Truth and Snapback, I do think that we exile the Snapback and develop this Invisible Stalker. Now we have Daze, hopefully on their potential 3-drop. And then if we ever draw into a 1-drop we want to cast, we can bounce that Chalice for a turn. Red in 6. We can't let our opponent resolve a red in 6. It's going to run away with the game. Stays it. Alright. Hopefully that... Ooh. Alright, well. It looks like we're going to be using the Echoing Truth at the end of our opponent's turn. On the Chalice for 1, and then we're going to develop a Curious Obsession. And hopefully into another couple 1-drops that we can all cast in the same turn. Bit of Echoing Truth the Mox time in there. This works for me. So our Curious Obsession now costs 2. But they cannot currently play a Chalice for 1 unless they draw a land. So our ideal draw is Wasteland to take them off of a land. Another Echoing Truth is not too miserable here, so let's go ahead and play out this Curious Obsession and get in for 2. See if we draw into Wasteland. Absolutely we'll draw a card. Another 1-drop is not stellar. But I think we just passed the turn here. I hope they don't draw a land. I think the opponent would have played it if they'd drawn a land. Hopefully they're locked under their own Thalia of being able to play their Chalice. If so, it's great because we get to play this Curious Obsession out next turn. Obviously, if we knew they weren't drawing the land, we might have developed Chrome Mox exiling its Echoing Truth, but that just seems like a really bad line. Ideally, opponent has a bunch of cards stuck in their hand behind their own Thalia. I still want to hit Wasteland here, so I'm going to go ahead and Curious Obsession first. And then attack with our 3/3. So the reason to ponder first is obviously hitting the land is basically the same thing. So we're going to always yes, always yield this. We'd always like to draw some cards. Force of Will is great. We cannot currently cast Back to Basics. So let's see. I kind of like this. So Chrome Mox will exile this Ponder, and then we'll pass the turn with Force of Will out. And then the turn after that, we can slam this Back to Basics. So, do we even force the Chalice on 1? I think the Chalice on 1's fine now. They have to tap all their lands, we'll Back to Basics then? Yeah, I think we even just let the Chalice for 1 resolve. Let's find out what they have. Alright, they're going to chunk in first, which is fine. Get maximum amount of info. We're at 16, opponent's at 13. Alright, they're just passing. They're not casting any of their spells, which is fine by us. We'll go ahead and deal 3 damage to you now. Abrupt Decay. Abrupt Decay. Alright. So we will only draw 1 card here, but I think that's perfect because we get to Back to Basics them post-combat. which is just stellar. So post-combat, we're gonna tap our 3 lands and back to basics, or 4 and back to basics then. The opponent currently still cannot develop Chalice on 1, and that wins us the match. All right. So we're 1-1 currently, moving into our 3rd match. I hope everyone out there, anyone that's watching, anyone that might be watching on YouTube in the future, is enjoying the content. This is a little deck that I brewed up. The idea was an unblockable threat with a curiosity, being able to run away with the game, and sometimes jank them out of the sideboard back to basics, like we did there. So that was a pretty well played game. We dodged them drawing the land on a crucial turn, but we did end up drawing the Echoing Truth to even potentially maneuver around. So looking forward to what we're playing against in round 3. Remember everyone, if you like what you see, please follow for more. Additionally, if you want to subscribe on YouTube, it doesn't cost anything and definitely supports what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this hand, and we'll probably bottom the Spell Pierce. The Force. It sucks to bottom Force because it's one of the best cards in this deck, but I think we want to keep the Ponder into Invisible Stalker. So like that's a bunch of counter spells, but we really need either threats, which this is, or Curious Obsessions. Ooh, another Mox Diamond, huh? This is fun. This isn't the same opponent we just had, right? No idea. I don't know if this is the same opponent we just had, but let's find out. Yep, second Mox Diamond. Misty Rainforest. Gamble. Yep. Gamble's gonna let him get life from the loam, and that's the card they discarded. Okay. So we really want to develop these threats as quickly as possible. Force of Will's a little bit late there. So we're gonna play an Invisible Stalker and pass the turn. I'm just gonna pick back up their life from the loam, of course. So we're hoping to draw into another land for this True-Name. Would be ideal. Wintrip Heath, Bazooka Bog, Mazavith. Yeah, those are all great. Mazavith is especially fine because all of our threats currently do not interact with Mazavith. And our opponent Milling, Sylvan Library, and Exploration are both pretty decent there. They're probably going to hit us with this. Wouldn't surprise me if they currently thought we were on Snapcasters. Go ahead and take our turn. Oh, that's unfortunate. Alright, well that was neither of the things we wanted to draw, so we're just going to hit for 1 here and pass the turn. I'm just going to get to life in the loam again, which is pretty good. Did not dredge life in the loam. Interesting. Oh no, Blast Zone. That one, on the other hand, is scary. Alright, I'm scared. I am sufficiently scared of Blast Zone, but I think the opponent will be more scared of this True-Name Nemesis. So they're almost certainly taking it up for True-Name and then gonna pop it on True-Name. Just fine, there's nothing we can do about that. Curious if we should just concede to the Blast Zone. That's definitely some technology. Because yeah, now they have blow up Blast Zone, play Invisible Stalker. Can't quite tick up Blast Zone or on True-Name Nemesis. Life in the Loam, can't quite this turn. So they're just gonna pop the Blast Zone. That's fine. Play a land, pick it back up, pass the turn. Yeah, we cannot beat the lock that we are currently in. So Let's look at the sideboard and see if there's a way for us to be able to beat Blast Zone. There is! The surgical extractions. Alright, so also I'm bringing these Force of Negations because unlike our opponent's last deck, it's much more powerful here. And these back to basics should be pretty decent as well. And these snapbacks answer 2020. So we have a lot of sideboard cards for our opponent. These Dazes, not very good. These Spell Pierces, also not very good. So we're going to be taking all of those out. Then we only have 3 cards left to remove. It's probably going to be 2 foils. An actual Force of Will is kind of bad too. Oh, didn't even take 2 out, just 1. Yep. Alright, let's run it back. We would like to be on the play. This hand is fine. This hand interacts with their combo and has a True-Name Nemesis and interacts with the Blast Zone, which is wonderful. Ideally, we draw a Surgical Extraction to help with life in the Chrome Mox. But even then, we have Force of Negation, so even if they're able to Blast Zone us more than once, it shouldn't be more than that. Find out what the opponent has here. If it's Crop Rotation, I'm probably countering. I really want to counter this, but I'm not going to. Yeah. Okay, well this isn't ideal. Yep. This one. I'm gonna lead on Island. I'm gonna play True-Name Nemesis. Choosing them. There's a good chance they'll be able to tick up the Blast Zone next turn, but that is why I have the Wasteland here. Ideally, over the course of our next 2 draw steps, we draw into a Surgical Extraction, and then Blast Zone is no longer a concern. Let's find out. Let's see what we got. Opponent. Opponent has Port. That's fine. They can currently only tick up their Blast Zone by 1 a turn. Ooh, Dark Depths as well. Gamble, discard Thespian Stage. I have to feel that that's what they gambled for. That feels pretty good for us. Porting us is fine. Draw Invisible Stalker. Let's go ahead and Curious Obsession up our True Name and get in for 4. We've got in 4. Let's go ahead and draw a card. It is only Slither Blade. Good news is we can cast Slither Blade. We have 4 answers in our deck to 2020. We just have to take away the Blast Zone now. So if not, they get to take away our Curious Obsession and Slither Blade. So let's just hope that they do not have a way to currently make a 2020. Yep. Port and Wasteland are fine. This one's grabbing a life in the loam, which was discarded. Surgical. We have 2 draw steps to get there. So here's the first one. Ooh, that's pretty good too. Well, that's literally probably better than Surgical, and I just didn't know it. But it's actually going to cost our opponent to have ported us there pretty majorly. So let's go ahead and back to basics then. And then it's their turn. We've cut them off of green, I believe, because Taiga was their only green source, so it's curious if they dredged that life in the loam. They did, so they do have another green source in hand. Or they're just going to play Thespian Stage, another land, and that'll be that, and I just have to answer a 20/20. Alright, nope. Opponent is going to go get a green source and cast a Life in the Loam with the Ghost Quarter. That is perfectly fine by us. Okay. Opponent grabs Thespian Stage, Ghost Quarter. So they will have a 20/20 next turn, but we have 5 this turn and 5 next turn. So let's see here. Ooh, Echoing Truth was also amazing there. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. No shuffle. Curiosity on the True-Name. Being in combat, get in there for 5. And then post-combat, yep. On the stack. Yep. Also, yep. Second main, we're going to go ahead and cast an Invisible Stalker. And then we pass the turn. See if the opponent can stop us. We have them at 5. We do have an answer to a 20/20, but a 20/20 does not currently stop us. All our creatures are unblockable, and they are currently at 5. See what they got. We've won 2 matches. All right. Oh, no, that wasn't a match. Oh, no, that was only a game? Ah, no, we have to win on the draw now. That's much worse. Yeah, I like how it is. I like trading Force of Negations for Force of Wills because Force of Negation exiles. And our opponent does very little on our turn. If they do something on our turn, we do have these. I'm actually going to go ahead and bring in Umezawa Jitte and Force of... Oh, never mind. I'm going to bring in Umezawa Jitte and Force of Will since they saw Slither Blade. And we're going to go ahead and keep this. And might change their play patterns based on having Slither Blade. We're going to see if they crop rotate. Elvish Reclaimer. That's fine. Opponent fetching basic there, obviously, because they know we have back to basics now. So we're going to go ahead and play a Slither Blade there and pass the turn. Opponent can tutor up their 20/20 combo, 1 card at a time here. See what they have. Okay, it looks like they're just going to go land pass. Also might mean they're tutoring for a blast zone. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with this Curiosity. Get in there for 1. Draw a card. There's a good chance we're just going to play this Wasteland and pass. Because otherwise they do get to sack the land we'd target in response. Oh no, we went to our end step. Oh no, we went to our end step. That wasn't our goal. Alright, well. Maybe the opponent will sense weakness and go for a fast 20/20 instead. I kind of sense weakness. Ancient Tomb. Okay. The opponent has Ancient Tomb. We have 2 answers to a 20/20. The opponent's casting now a Tireless Tracker. Tireless Tracker's pretty good. I think we're going to go ahead and do something about that. Only because we missed a land drop, unfortunately. Thespian Stage is fine. So ironically, because we missed a land drop, it looks like they went for this Ancient Tomb, which we now get to Wasteland them off of. Go ahead and Ponder. Force of Will, Curious Obsession. Force of Negation? Nope. So let's go ahead and get in for 1. Draw a card. Off auto yield, yes. So now we lose our option answer 2020 if we bounce this Elvish Reclaimer. So I'm just going to go ahead and let it live. Mox Diamond's good. What have you got with Mox Diamond? Life from the Loam. That one's not good. Let's go ahead and stop you from doing that one by exiling Echoing Truth. It's a sad one to get rid of, but we really don't want you to have Life from the Loam. Interesting they're leaving Elvish Reclaimer back. They intend to tutor. That's fine. Let's go ahead and draw 2 cards this turn. Good. Our Slither Blade is now out of the range of a Punishing Fire. Draw 2 more cards. Put them on the stack. Always yes. Always yes. Always yield. Always yield. Another Echoing Truth. That one seems pretty good. Alright, second main. We will not forget to play in a land, hopefully for the rest of this game. Yep. Dark Depths it is. Okay. Seems good to us. So we're going to try and get in there for 2. See if we can draw into a couple more spells. Spells seem real good right now. I'm just going to upkeep the 20. Interesting. Okay. We are fine with this and letting them making a 20. We're going to go ahead and draw now. True-Name Boy is pretty good too. Alright, so first things first, we go to combat. Attack them for 2 and draw 2 cards. Curious Obsession, Curiosity are going to be pretty good next turn. So we're going to go in Echoing Truth, targeting Merit Lage. See if they crop rotation in response. They do not. Now we just get to play out this island and play another Curious Obsession. Ooh, Curious Obsession. Don't want to concede. Yeah, we do not want them to have Blast Zone, but currently if they go get Blast Zone, that's fine too. That's 2 turns before they can actually do it, and over those 2 turns we're going to hit them for 3, draw 3 cards, play a True-Name Nemesis. So let's see if they have an end of turn crop rotation. Looks like it. Yep. So we are going to go ahead and counter that. Pitching a Invisible Stalker, I guess. Okay. Opponent's got 1 card in hand and currently has Elvish Reclaimer available. When it goes to cast a spell, I probably will bounce Reclaimer in response. Yeah. I don't think they can make another 2020 in the time that we'd be able to kill them with True-Name and this Slither Blade. Okay. Opponent should just pass here. Ooh, opponent's not going to pass. We're going to happily take 3. Can't think of any reason to bounce it now. See if they have crop rotation at this moment. Okay, they don't. We're going to go ahead and ponder. That's just great, right? Like, can't lose territory. No shuffle. Curiosity on this. Potentially, so we're going to draw 5 cards this turn, including our draw step. So as long as at least one of them is a land, we'll have the Snapback up as well. So, always yes, always yes, always yield, always yield. Yep. Alright, so that isn't exactly a land, but I'll take it. So, Chrome Mox here. We will imprint the Curious Obsession. So we'll pass the turn, see if the opponent does anything. Opponent does not. We currently have another Dark Depths covered. That's why I didn't Surgical Dark Depths during the draw step. Because we do have Snapback. Okay. This is possibly where we've entered Can't Lose territory, is when we hit the end step, Surgical on the Dark Depths. The reason why we did want to do it on their turn is so that Force of Negations were available. And if they try and do it on our turn, they won't have any Dark Depths anymore because we'll have Surgical then. And I think from here we can beat whatever their fair game plan B is. So let's see what we got here. End step, we're going to Surgical Dark Depths. Paying 2 life. Can we please see what's in your hand, opponent? If it's a crop rotation, we have a word with you. Okay, this is fine because the opponent's going to go get a Dark Depths. Yep. See what's in your hand, opponent. Crop rotation, huh? That's pretty good. So, a couple blasts, so that's not great. We'll definitely want to develop True-Name this turn. But we can go to combat first. Draw a bunch of cards. Unfortunately, Slither Blade is able to be interacted with via Pyroblast because it is a blue creature that is not hexproof. We have to develop True-Name Nemesis this turn, so I can't land this back to basics, which is a little unfortunate, but that's fine. Alright, pass turn. We have double Force of Negation Snapback up, so let's see if the opponent somehow can beat us through that. Currently, if they draw any land, they have a line. They just crop rotate the forest. Oh, their Ancient Tomb, I guess, is gone. I did leave the Dark Depths in the grave, but I don't think that matters. Because, once again, we have every counterspell in the world. If they kind of want to incentivize them to go for a life from the loam, but instead they just obviously reclaimed. Alright, we did end up getting the match. So we are currently 2-1 going into round 3, or round 4 of our Legacy League, with mono blue rogues. So kind of excited, glad that it's doing at least okay enough to win some games. Considering playing this in the Legacy Challenge on this weekend, this is a brew of my own. I have seen it to winning some 1Ks before, but we'll see how if I end up actually registering it. Last weekend I ended up registering mono green lands, so definitely something a little off the beaten path, that's for sure. So hopefully you check that video out as well. It is on my YouTube. My YouTube username is Alex Brown. If you do search it, if you search it with the tag Alex Brown Lucksack Games, you should find all of our videos. Looking for a round 4 opponent. Kind of excited what we're going to go up against next. Hopefully it's some spell-based combo and not some... Elves is kind of a nightmare matchup, for example. Soft Permission does very little, and they can attack us to death. Ideally, we go against some Death and Taxes opponents. They tend to have even though they're a creature deck, they have a very hard time with multiple True-Name Nemesis. True-Name Nemesis. Alright, we will be on the play. We will keep this hand. So our nut draw is Slither Blade into Curious Obsession with Daze backup and Force backup. So, yeah. If we draw a second island, we do get the power of double Curious Obsession on 2. So let's play out this and confuse our opponent. Opponent probably thinking that's a Merfolk. Oh no, they're on this deck. Alright, let's see if they're going to turn one to Mystic Forge. Good news is a handful of counter spells might be pretty good against them, I think. Alright, so opponent decides not to go for it, which is very reasonable. See if we can draw a basic land here. Fortunately not. Still going to go for the Curious Obsession. Let's go ahead and hit him for 2 and draw a card. If we hit an island, we will play out this other Curious Obsession too. We did not. So we're just going to pass the turn. Ooh, if opponent has to sack both Crystal Veins to play a 4-drop, that would be insane for us. Oh my god, it looks like that's what they're going for. Grim Monolith. Well, we're going to force that one. Because we don't want them to have more mana. See if they want to do anything else. Nope. Yeah. We're going to try and keep them off as many lands as possible. Because that is how they will beat us, is being able to play around our soft permission. And these untap with the Paradox Engine. So let's draw 2 cards. Always yes. Always yield. Beautiful. Alright, so drawing into Force of Negation there is pretty good. Because all of their payoffs are creatures. So... Ooh, Cloud Post. They are not the deck I thought they were. Looks like they are that Eldrazi post deck instead. It's good info to have. Good info to have. Alright, another Daze is not super stellar. Go ahead and hit our opponent for 3. Draw 2 cards. Alright, we did hit the other land, so I think at this point I do just want to develop more pressure, so let's go ahead and put True-Name Nemesis on the board. So our opponent's on a 2-turn clock, and we have a handful of counter magic. Yeah, alright, that's going to be good enough. Back to basics are seeming like they'd be pretty good. I don't love Force of Negations, but I feel like we have to bring them in. We're going to bring in Jitte. I don't love snapbacks. Foils are probably what we cut. Those are basically just for the super fast combo decks of Legacy. Let's see. Also, we cut down to 2 Force Negation, and yeah, maybe not the snapbacks this game. And Spell Pierce just seem kind of medium against their deck. Does that look pretty good? Looks pretty reasonable. If they show us a little more of their deck, we'll know whether or not Commandeers are relevant. But currently against just Eldrazi's, Commandeers aren't the best. So we're going to go ahead and keep this. And it's a little soft to a Chalice on 1, which means that we will force Pitching Ponder if they do have one. Let's see what they have. Ancient Tomb. Chalice of the Void for 1. Ooh, Walking Ballista for 1. That's fine. So it's possible there's still that combo deck. It's just that they had a more awkward draw. Force of Negation and True-Name Nemesis. While True-Name Nemesis is a reasonable threat, I think we have all the threats we need and all the lands we need. Force of Negation is not great to do, but we're going to go ahead and shuffle draw. And that's exactly what we were looking to get to. Okay, so... Chrome Mox would be the draw for next turn so that we can land this back to basics. The opponent's casting Thought Knots here. I really don't want them to tie a knot in our thoughts. So we're going to go ahead and pitch this Curious Obsession, but we're going to take away their Thought Knots here. Alright, take 1 here, draw. That was a pretty good draw. Invisible Stalker, pass the turn. So opponent cannot kill Invisible Stalker with Walking Ballista unless we're silly enough to block. And Dynamo. Yep, that one's good. Alright, so next turn. Tempting as it is to land this Curiosity, I think we just need to back to basics them off of 2 lands. So I'm down on that. It's unfortunate they have this Thran Dynamo. If we draw one more land, we will Umezawa's Jitte plus equip. If we don't draw the land, we're gonna Curiosity. Ooh. Now we want Echoing Truth to get rid of this Thran Dynamo. So since we want Echoing Truth, we're definitely putting that on there. Even though we could have put 3 more power on the battlefield this turn. Let's see what we get. Echoing Truth. Another Curiosity. Okay. So we're going to play out a Jitte, and we're going to pass the turn. Next turn, Jitte will kill this Walking Ballista. They have conceded. We are 3-1 with mono blue rogues. This is very exciting. Okay, so back to basics was the correct play there, 100%. Going into our last match here, let's see if we can wrap it up as 4-1 with this mono blue brew. It's a little unfortunate that we already know that since we lost round 1, we won't get posted as a 5-0 deck, but that's okay. This will be posted on my YouTube for you to watch later if you're just tuning in and wanted to see how we did earlier. You definitely want to tune in on YouTube. Remember, while you're there, go ahead and drop a subscription. It's at no cost on YouTube. However, if you want to subscribe on Twitch, would not hurt my feelings either. However, it costs you nothing to follow, so if you hit that follow button, you'll know next time I go live with crazy brews like this. So hopefully you're enjoying the content. Unfortunately, I haven't quite figured out how to look at chat while I'm streaming, so I will be reviewing chat in the video afterwards on YouTube. Thank you for anyone that is watching currently on Twitch. This is the first time in a while that I've streamed on Twitch, so I greatly appreciate you coming in. So we're going to our last round. Thank you so much for being here again. So the Scuba 96. The Scuba. Find out what they're on. So I generally feel like the post decks are pretty good matchups since very few of their spells matter. But I'm thinking that it's a very good chance that our opponent last round actually still was that combo deck. I'm going to go ahead and keep this because we have 2 draw steps at hitting a land or a Chrome Mox that just makes this absolutely insane. Opponent's going to cast a 1-mana cantrip and pass the turn. Land? What was it? Ponder was also an excellent draw there, so we had quite a few good draws. Ponder becomes a less excellent draw this next turn, so let's see what we can do. It's a Baleful Strix. I think this is fine. I can go ahead and draw a card. Hope to draw a land ourselves. Land? No, not Stalker. Not Stocky Boy. I want the jig is up. Alright, we're going to go and discard this foil because we're not going to be using the combo of Daze plus foil. It's a little sad to give up that information, but there's still a good chance we can develop in a positive way here. We will pick up this island to Daze if we need to, but ideally we just Spell Pierce here. Potential we should have Dazed the Baleful Strix, but that line just feels like it's playing to lose the game. And we're playing to draw an island. Opponent brainstorming here, we will take the opportunity to Spell Pierce so that they do not have a perfect brainstorm. They will have to crack their fetch if they want to brainstorm here. Or fight over this with Spell Pierce. Looks like they are just good with losing brainstorm to Spell Pierce. And fetching afterwards. Interesting. So maybe they're thinking that their 2-drop resolves here now. And that they just led with the bait that was brainstorm. I mean, we have the counterspell and we're going to let that resolve. So that's fine. So opponent appears to be Esper Helm, which means that they are going to be trying to Helm of Obedience us. So land. I will take Chrome Mox any day of this week. So the real question here is, I think we pitch a Curiosity, because if this gets countered, we have to resolve an Invisible Stalker, or we just lose the game. Opponent reading Invisible Stalker. Baleful Strix does not interact favorably with Invisible Stalker, since Invisible Stalker cannot be blocked. So it's possible we're about to just be edicted off of this Invisible Stalker or something along those lines, which would be very, very bad. But that is another reason why we kept a second Stalker around as well. We do have Daze to kind of protect us around the Helm. It's kind of awkward because ideally they want to play it out when they still have a mana floating as well to activate to kill us. If we can Echoing Truth on the Rest in Peace in response, that's really good as well, because they do have to sacrifice the Helm if they hit a creature. So if they activate for 1 and hit one of our dudes, they do lose their Helm. Actually, I think they lose it even if they don't mill a dude. Can't remember the exact text on that. I think it's mill until X cards or a creature, at which point that would be fine too. Council's Judgment. That is very rude, opponent, so we're going to pick up our island and say no. No. If they fight over this, that's great for us, and we'll just play another Invisible Stalker and let them have their turn. This is also fine for us, because ideally we're drawing 2 cards next turn. So, pass. Hopefully draw into some real good kind of counter magic. So we can Wasteland them this turn, right? Puts them down to 3 lands. Or we draw 2 cards. I think we draw 2 cards this turn. Probably Wastelanding next turn. Alright, Curious Obsession. Should have done that in the opposite order, in case they have Daze, but I think they don't. They're not a Daze deck. So let's hit them for 2. Draw 2. Hope they don't have another. That's another potential reason, is that we're going to play around them having another Council's Judgment or Snap Council's Judgment next turn. But I think those are relatively minuscule lines to getting our engine going. Pretty sure if they can't answer this within a turn cycle, which would be their next turn here, that we're in a position where we will be running away with the game. So let's see if the opponent can punish us for tapping out here. Don't like that they immediately went to the turn and started paying costs. Astrolabe draws them another card. Seriously, a very powerful card in all formats. Who could have guessed, right? Most powerful card in Modern Masters is actually this card right here. Arkham's Astrolabe. 4 of in almost every deck that plays it in every format. Pauper, Legacy, Modern, so many of them. See what we're getting here. Uh-oh. Oh, Teferi's fine. Yeah, Teferi's probably going to bounce our Chrome Mox. Maybe bounce Astrolabe. That would be an okay line as well. I don't think bouncing one of our Curiosities gets them anywhere. They are going to target the Astrolabe. Probably looking for Helm just to kill us here. Narset's also not stellar for us, but it's not the end of the world. So, Astrolabe, draw a card, that's fine. Pretty sure that's their turn. So we will probably be playing out this Invisible Stalker next turn to attack Teferi, but maybe not. So let's start with the Ponder. Let's see what we're doing from there. All our counter spells are absolutely miserable while there's a Teferi in play, so we're going to go ahead and put those back. No shuffle. Curious Obsession here. Wasteland. Cool thing is we do get to attack first. And if they have Helm, we are dead. Not necessarily immediately, but we do get to draw, because we do get to draw a couple cards first. So, always yes, always yes, always yield, always yield. Let's draw 3 cards. Yep. Oil Island and another Curiosity. Okay. So I think I just want to take them off this. And instead just try and out-tempo this Teferi. So I'm going to exile this Invisible Stalker. I'm going to put a Curiosity on this. Looking like we're tapping. Well, I mean, we are tapping out. Teferi's in play. So this foil does nothing, effectively. We're basically looking for threats. See if the opponent has Helm. Ah, Ponder. Ponder's not great for us to see, but it is not. It means that they cannot kill us this turn. It's also very possible that they already had the Helm and chose not to shuffle and just needed another land, which we were able to take them off of. So let's see, they chose not to shuffle. Let's find out what they're doing now. They're going to tick up Tef almost certainly. Sure, gets in for 1 with Strix. Find out what else you got, opponent. They don't even, as long as they remember to tick up their Teferi, they don't even have to fight battles on their turn. They forgot to tick up Teferi. Huh. I feel bad for not playing Invisible Stalker. So depending on what we draw here. Oh. Oh god, no. No! Not a Kaya's Guile. Oh, that's good. Alright, well, see what we draw. Needs to be True-Name. That was well played from the opponent. I think we can give it to him at this point. Wow, that was really well played by them. Alright, so Kaya's Guile. Whew. That's a spicy one. Alright, so they played around Force of Negation there too, which is pretty smart. There's not much we can do about that either. So luckily they didn't see Slither Blade, so they'll probably not play around that. I don't feel like they had enough non-basics. They were an Astrolabe deck, so back to basics isn't going to be very good against them. Feel like it's just another Force of Negation? I think I'm good at just 2. I also think I just want Echoing Truth. I don't want Snapback. A little unfortunate there as well that if we had played out another Invisible Stalker, we would have had some protection against that Kaya's Guile, but I will be the first to admit to say that I was not playing around Kaya's Guile. In the 3-1 bracket, mind you. In the 0-2 bracket, maybe. Might have thought about it. So, what the opponent's putting in. Teferi's not exactly good news for us. Maybe that's a reason to be running Force of Negations. Also, I can bounce Slither Blades. I'm in. Add 2 Force of Negations over 2 Slither Blades. These Spell Pierces still seem like they'd be absolutely great at hitting everything not named Baleful Strix. Considering the awkwardness of how that draw went, I think we played a pretty good game then. So, no problem with the opponent. The opponent's definitely, I'm sure, considering what we could possibly have post-board, since they saw very little of our deck game 1. See if we can 2-0 the sideboard games. effectively we trade Slither Blades for Force of Negations and foils for Commandeer. So this hand's a keep. This hand's either, see, once again, if I knew I was drawing the land, I'd hope to develop on a True-Name Nemesis. Since I don't know I'm drawing the land, I feel like I have to go with Slither Blade instead. So Slither Blade. I might use the mana from this turn, so pass turn. We will literally Spell Pierce and Astrolabe. Turn does nothing, we will take our turn. We do have to shout out that we have something here. Yeah. We're going to take our turn now. What did we draw? Alright, we would not have hit the island, so definitely took the right line there. Should tap that, because if they try and kill it in combat and we have to Daze, it's a little unfortunate that we can't pick up the island and play a spell post-combat. Okay, attack for 2, draw a card. Yep. Not stellar this turn, but should be a little bit better next turn. Kaya's Guile, huh? It's playing with some spice, that's for sure. What the opponent has now. Like I said, we almost certainly will Spell Pierce and Astrolabe. Especially with the opponent leading on basic or snow-covered swamp, not island. Underground sea, huh? Are we about to get hymned? Ha! Opponent is going to attempt to hymn us, and we're going to say no. Put your hymn in the graveyard, opponent. Please place your hymn to Torak into your grave. Thank you. So curious what other... I'm pretty sure opponent's going to have piles of planeswalkers and interaction, so let's hope to draw into more curiosity effects and more counterspells and lands. Basically everything in our deck that's not more Invisible Stalkers. Yep. Echoing Truth is, I guess, technically what we asked for. Alright. Play out an Invisible Stalker and pass the turn. Opponent's going to force the Invisible Stalker. That's great. Tells me they're probably going big on Kaya's Guile here. Yep. Kaya herself. Alright, well. We are going to go ahead and Daze that. See if the opponent has further interaction beyond getting it dazed. Nope. Reason why is their next 3-drop, we're probably going to have to Force of Negation. They have left themselves in a position where they're semi-vulnerable to Wasteland, so let's see if we can capitalize on that. Let's draw another card here. Yep. We do not get to capitalize on their Wasteland vulnerability. I feel like we develop another Invisible Stalker. And pass the turn. Forest pitching Baleful Strix. Curious that they still have Baleful Strixes in. I played against a friend of mine named Logan. That's not resolving. I guess Echoing Truth. And he was having a hard time deciding, he was on Grixis control on what to sideboard out against this deck. And then he laughs and he immediately slams 4 cards out of his deck. After the match, he shows me there were the 4 Baleful Strixes. He said, "This card didn't seem very good against you." And I laughed and said, "I don't think it is." Let's see if the opponent has another Jace here. Brainstorm. I think we let that resolve. Most of the things they can cast that we hate, we can Spell Pierce. Not all, mind you. I think if our opponent Thought Seizes us, for example, we'll Spell Pierce it hoping they pay. We really want to draw into another curiosity effect to that. So opponent's going to tap 2 here. 3, Plague Engineer. Uh-oh. See what type they name here. Rogue. Oh, that is so awesome. I'm curious if the opponent is seeing the stream and know that it's mono rogues, or if they just read all the creature type lines and saw that they were all rogues. So Commandeer is probably a little awkward here. So we are going to get in for 1. Good thing this gives plus power. Let's go ahead and draw a card. Yep. Most definitely. Oh no, another island. Well, that's definitely not what we were looking for. Okay, so definitely hoping to dodge second Plague Engineer. That would be very, very, very bad for us. Wish we could be casting this Brainstorm. I'm going to go ahead and Spell Pierce this. Opponent will likely tap down for it, but that'll be their entire development for this turn. Opponent 1-for-1s this, I'll be shocked. It's ideal for them to pay, yeah. Okay. Good. So unfortunately, opponent did correctly identify that every creature in our deck is a rogue. That includes True-Name Nemesis, for those of you that are unfamiliar. We did, I believe, already use our Echoing Truth, or we pitched it to Force, I think. We pitched it to Force. So this guy's not leaving the battlefield for a turn or 2. But he will be clocking us back at a fairly reasonable rate, so let's see if we can draw some curiosity effects. Like that one. Alright, let's hope opponent doesn't have interaction here. So I'm actually going to attack with both. The line I'm playing against is absolutely ridiculously Simian Spirit Guide or Elvish Spirit Guide, sack an attacking creature, but there's no reason not to attack here. Drawing in the island's a little bit bad. True-Name Nemesis will sit in our hand until we can Commandeer something. So 3 cards in hand, let's see what the opponent has. Second Plague Engineer, that's not great. So that will kill off this one. Make this an 0-1. So we now need to draw into a way to remove a creature from the board, which our deck does have very few of, or another Curious Obsession, which our deck has 3 of. Not yet, unfortunately. 5, 6, we can hard cast Commandeer next turn, which could actually be a way that we win this game. Oh, we should have attacked, so we have to sack this now. Yeah. And as soon as it sacks, it dies, so misplayed that. I would like to see how this draws out. But that definitely took away any chances we had of winning the game. Realized it immediately, too, as soon as I went, there's no point in attacking. I went, there sure is. Narset's real good. Wish we had a Narset. Cannot Commandeer it till next turn, though. But next turn, we will have a Commandeer available. Let's see what they reveal off their Narset. Him. They're gonna him us here. Ideally discarding True-Name Land. Fortunate. Opponent seeing that we run Commandeer. Alright, so let's see. That's 4. Yep, we no longer have any draws in our deck that win us the game. Well played, opponent. So we ended this league 3-2. Good for a treasure chest and our entry fee back. Thank you so much for anyone that's tuning into the stream. Unfortunately, I only had time for 1 league tonight. Might be on again later. Definitely check out the YouTube. Please drop me a follow if you're checking this video out. This is Alex with Lucksack Games. Thank you so much for tuning in. Till next time.